Okay, strategy number 1, graphic representation for problem solving. All right, class. So what did we learn yesterday that helps and when you read word problems and you need to know whether you are supposed to add or subtract, what gives you a good hint on what you're supposed to do?
If you're adding, you don't know the total. You're trying to find the total.
Yes, exactly.
If you're subtracting, you're already given the total and you're trying to find the missing number.
Perfect. Okay, so with that background knowledge, we are going to go into something new today. We have um, different stories, and a lot of the problem solving, they are divided into 3 different categories: change story situations, group story situations, and compare story situations. Basically what that means is that a change story involves time. It has a beginning, it has an end. They all occur at different times, and that's a really good reference to figuring out whether it's a change problem. Let me show you an example of that. I want you to read this problem to me.
Travis had 56 stamps in his stamp collection. He gave away 23 of them to his best friend so he could start his own collection. Now Travis has 33 stamps.
Okay, so out of that information, how can you decide what is the beginning set? How can you figure out by just reading the problem what is the beginning?
Well, is it 56 because that's the amount of stamps he started with?
Exactly. And you can tell that by just reading the problem. Now, what you would do in this table that we have laid out, you would write 56 in the beginning set. And then next, what would be the change set? Do you have any idea?
Whenever he gave away 23 of his stamps to his friend.
Exactly. And then so the ending set would then be 33 stamps.
Except the amount of stamps he has after he gave away.
Exactly.
His stamps.
So this is just this is a situation where it would be involving a beginning, change, and ending set for change. Okay? And for a group story situation, that's pretty much what it sounds like. You're grouping things together. You are understanding what a part-whole relationship, and that knowing when a whole is equal to the sum of its parts. So it might make a little bit more sense if you go ahead and read this problem to me.
Jessica has 63 flowers in her garden. 42 are roses, and the remaining 21 left are daisies.
Okay, so what this type of graph means is that we have the smaller sets on each side compared to the larger set. Out of this problem, can you figure out what the large set is?
Is that the total of the amount of roses and daisies?
Exactly. So then the 63 flowers in her garden would go in the larger set. And then for the smaller sets, it would be what? The roses and daisies, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's what a group story situation is. A compare story is exactly what that sounds. You're comparing 2 different sets, having a larger and a smaller value, but using the same unit of measure. So let's try and read this. What does this one say?
Zach has 84 paper clips and Danny has 45. Zach has 39 more paper clips than Danny.
Okay. So what are we comparing here, first off? We're comparing
the amount of paper clips.
Okay.
Between the 2 people.
Right. So what would the compared set be then?
The compared set would be the amount of paper clips that Zach has.
Right. So the 84 paper clips would go on the compared set. And then what about the difference that Zach has with Danny would be then 39. So that would go on the different set.
Are you saying that that's the amount that the amount that Zach has more than Danny?
Exactly. And then Danny has 45 paper clips, so that would be what is comparing with Zach. Okay? So now that we've gone through that, we're going to try out 3 sample problems, or you are going to try out 3 sample problems just really quickly. And then we'll read this together. Jenna has 73 sheets of pink and purple construction paper. She had 34 sheets of pink and the rest were purple. How many sheets of purple construction paper does she have? By just reading this problem, do you have any idea what type of story situation it is?
Well, I'm going back from what the last thing said. It sounds like a group problem.
Perfect. Good job. And do you remember which table you're supposed to use for a group problem?
For the group problem, you're supposed to use what's with the smaller set and larger sets.
Exactly. And do you have any idea why that you have the smaller sets and the larger set?
I don't know.
Okay. The reason why is because you have a total of 73 sheets, right? Of pink and purple. So
Is that the larger set?
Yes. So you can go ahead and write that if you like, but you're comparing the pink and purple construction paper. Those are the sets that that you're grouping right now.
So the pink and purple is the larger set put together.
Put together,
Right.
exactly. So now that you know that information, let's see if you can do it. For the larger set, what would that be? 73. Good job. And then for the two smaller sets, what would you put? Or one, the one.
The one that's given.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it must be 34.
Okay. And now, given that information, do you know whether you're supposed to add or subtract?
You are supposed to subtract.
And why is that?
Because you're already given the total amount of pink and purple pieces of paper.
Good. Awesome. We don't need to find the totals or anything right now. I'm just trying to basically teach you the method.
The process.
The process, yes. Okay, let's try this one. Tim went to school and lost 15 pencils. Now Tim has 27 pencils. How many did he start with? Reading this problem, what do you think of the three stories, situations that I told you?
It's has to do with change.
Exactly, because it has to do with what?
Him losing his pencils. And time.
Exactly. Good job. Okay, so now that you know that, which graph do you want to use for this type of problem?
You need to use the beginning and the change and ending sets.
Right, because that has to do with time.
Right.
So reading this problem, do we know what he began with?
No, we don't know how much he began
Okay.
with.
So we're going to go ahead and put a question mark there because we don't know that information yet. And then what about the ending set? Do we know what he ended with?
Yeah, he has 27 now.
Okay. And then so the change set would then be the loss of 15 pencils, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. You're getting this down really, really well. And then how would you figure out whether you were supposed to add or subtract? What would you do in this situation?
Well, you don't know the total, so you would add the ending and the change set together to get the beginning set.
Exactly. Good job. All right, and the last one. Christopher is 47 years old. Susie is 13 years old. How old is Susie?
That's just comparing.
Exactly.
Comparing the two ages of the two people.
So then which table would you use?
Use the referent difference and compared sets.
Good job. Okay, so what are we comparing right now?
We are comparing the age between Christopher and Susie's age.
Exactly. So on the compared set, what would we put there?
On the compared set, we would put Christopher's age.
Okay, which is
47.
47. All right. And then do we know how old Susie is?
We know that she's 13.
13 years older.
She's 13 years older.
Exactly.
Right.
So we don't know the reference set because we weren't given her age. We know the difference set though. Yeah. So then you would put the 13 years for the different set.
Because she's 13 years old different than...
Exactly. And so do you know what you would do for this problem? Do you know whether you would add or subtract?
Well, to